Hi there, this is Nick Scratch, host of the Post Meridian Radio Players Podcast, still stuck in this darkness of Irene's basement somewhere near Boston. I've been searching for an exit for the last several weeks and have yet to find my way out. Fortunately, the vending machine is stocked with plenty of Funyuns, so I've got that going for me, which is nice. In the meantime, let's see what's on tap for this week's episode. This is a treat. It's a new audio drama premiering right here for you tonight. The Madmen's Guild is a genre-bending new series blending steampunk, fantasy, comedy, and a lot of wordplay into something new. It comes from the rumored to be demented mind of Isaiah Plovnick, and we're proud to premiere the pilot episode here tonight. Join the Mad Hatters as they take you away to the otherworldly Coppersteam City and investigate the missing professor.
The Madmen's Guild presents I've Got No Spoon by Isaiah Plovnick. Chapter 1, The Missing Professor.
Professor Peenhammer was faced with a conundrum. Not a conundrum in any way related to the equations laid out on her desk, at least not in an empirical sense. The equations were perfect. The equations worked. If one were to walk into an equation shop and ask the shopkeep for their finest equations, these would undoubtedly be among the selection. The correctitude of the equations was not in question. She did, however, now have to choose between egads, gadzooks, or Eureka.
Egads was a simple option, if somewhat ambiguous in its distinction between intentional discovery and surprise. Still, it was modest and compact, and had two lovely hard consonants to give it a good weight. Gadzooks was more extravagant, to say the least. Whilst it included the same hard consonants as egads, there was also the added flair of ending with ooks. She could always save herself the choice and combine the two into egadzooks. But then there was the difficulty in deciding where to put the emphasis. Eureka, whilst being mostly vowels, was an elegant classic. There was no grey area whatsoever to its point, and it was traditionally used for occasions such as these.
Eureka!
I would have gone with gadzooks.
So would I. Much more texture.
Good Eureka or bad Eureka?
Good, of course. Who ever heard of a bad Eureka?
A large percentage of the alchemy department, I expect.
Oh, Simon, you're too young to be such a cynic.
A breakthrough Eureka, then?
I should say so.
I should hope so. I understand you've been spending so much time at the library of late that the archivists have taken to calling you "Oh, not you again" in the morning and "Go home already" when they close.
An hour of research is worth a week of application, dear. If I went about experimenting willy-nilly until I achieved the result I was trying for, I'd be...
You'd be Van Widdishens.
Why don't you get some sleep, Simon? You've done good work today, and those patient proposals will be waiting for you in the morning.
Ah. So it's do as you say and not as you do, eh?
It's gotten you this far, Mr. Sparkowitz.
I don't suppose you'd like to give me a hint as to what you've been working on all this time?
That, too, might be waiting for you in the morning.
Good night, Professor.
Good night, Simon.
Professor Peenhammer waited until she was certain Simon wasn't planning on returning to pretend he had forgotten his key as an excuse for checking she hadn't fallen asleep at the desk again, and then set aside her notebook and unrolled the beautiful blueprints.
Oh, aren't you a pretty thing, with your coils and gauges and knobs, and all the prettier now you've got an algorithm to make you work. Just give me 1 week, and you'll be a prototype. Give me 2 more, and you'll be fully calibrated. Then 1 good demonstration before the Board of Governors, and the funding is as good as ours. But first, tea. I'll be right back, you pretty thing, you. Funny. Soon enough, with your help, I'll only need to think and...
Professor Peenhammer!
Oh, good evening, Professor Van Widdershins. Fancy seeing you at this hour.
Oh yes, annual grant renewal meeting with the governors, don't you know? Merely a formality, of course, but a rather long formality. And I'll be damned if I allow a day to be wasted while there are still a few hours in it, what? This evening we achieved some rather promising results in the application of high-frequency currents to the nervous systems of...
Professor!
Ah, you remember Digby, yes?
Professor Van Widdershin stepped aside to review a tea tray balanced atop a small mountain of books with legs.
Yes, hello, Digby.
Digby! Say hello to Professor Peenhammer.
Hello to Professor Peenhammer. Professor Van Widdershins, my arms!
Yes, to the nervous systems of Negaprion brevirostris, the lemon shark, don't you know? By attaching subdermal electrodes directly to the ampullae and applying a charge of approximately 60,000 hertz, it is my contention that these organs of electroreception may be made to function as transmitters of electrical impulse. The initial difficulty was, of course, in attaching the electrodes, but once Digby worked out how to sneak up on the shark...
Excuse me, Wallace.
Professor Van Widdershins was an open book. Unfortunately, it was the sort of book that read itself to you whether you had asked it to or not, and was very difficult to shut once it had started. Fortunately, Professor Peenhammer knew how to politely curtail his diatribes.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I mustn't be long. I only stepped out for a cuppa.
Oh, goodness, you should have said. The tea in the faculty common is atrocious. Have some of my own Earl Grey. Oh, hush, Digby. We'll get you another cup.
Thank you, Wallace. You really are too kind.
Think nothing of it. Nothing good was ever discovered whilst drinking bad tea. Best of luck to you, Rosamond. Come along, Digby.
Van Widdershins sauntered off down the corridor with a cheerful gait, with the pile of books with legs trailing sluggishly behind him. Looking after them as they passed, Professor Peenhammer observed the unfortunate young man behind the books. Digby's posture could have been aptly represented by the depiction of a very unhappy letter S, tilted at a negative 30-degree angle.
Can he actually see where he's going?
Professor, would you mind holding the door open? Professor?
Oh, Wallace, you can't see the brass of the gears, can you? Poor dear. University won't fund both our work, will they? And once the governors see my proposal, that'll be it for your silly experiments. Oh, you'll understand, won't you? This is not science. This is the future. Yes, you understand. You've a good heart. Ugh, but dreadful taste in tea.
That, in a common sense, is where and when the story begins.
By the story, we of course mean this story, as it pertains to us, the aforeintroduced parties, and those yet to be named.
And by in a common sense, we of course mean in a direct linear subjective progression that supposes a beginning and an end.
And by beginning and end, we of course mean within the observable parameters of our point of narration.
Indeed. For all we know, this is only the middle of the whole silly business, and we haven't even gotten to the really good bit yet.
But let's not split hairs.
Indeed, we're not with the Pedants League, after all.
Actually, that's the Pedants Association of Greater Copperstein Limited.
Maybe we are.
In any case already, let us now take a moment to widen the scope so that we may properly introduce ourselves.
Ah, yes, do let's. Hello! My name is Edward von Arkham.
And my name is Ada Wellsvern. Hello.
Between us both, we have no fewer than 379 qualifications, titles, and names people have shouted at us that could go towards describing our mutual professional character.
Over the many years, my colleague and I have been explorers, detectives, scientists, revolutionaries,
Aeronauts, inventors, thespians, engineers,
archaeologists, custodians, travelling showmen, submariners,
philosophers, prognosticators, monster hunters, certifiable nuisances.
Thrill seekers, tea drinkers, hen teasers, disturbers of the peace.
What's a hen teaser?
You remember San Pájaros?
Ah, yes, the poultry uprising. Carnage.
But perhaps of foremost relevance to the events in question, Von Arkham and I are both time travelers, ostensibly retired as only time travelers can be.
And of equal and arguably greater relevance, Ada and I are also Mad Hatters of the Copper Steam Madmen's Guild.
In both capacities, we have grown accustomed to the necessity of providing further clarification, usually involving a rather Byzantine explanation of the nature of time, which typically results in headaches, indigestion, existential crises, and people shouting, "For the love of decency, please shut up." And it's all rather amusing, if a little bit messy. But we'll skip that bit, shall we?
Indeed. Macaulay and I hail from and currently reside in a time stream originating from an event horizon around the mid-19th century, at which point society as a whole took a look around at the current cultural and technological trends and collectively said, well, this is all jolly nice, isn't it? Let's keep this up, shall we?
Our permanent residence is Copper Steam City, a delightfully eclectic technopolis in what was once called England and is now called Ungland, right around where Bristol used to be. Guidebooks tend to describe Copper Steam as contemporary, picturesque, with a vibrant culture and rich history, which is more or less how such publications describe every city with a population over 400,000. Really, it's not so different from most large cities. It has an aetherport, a rail hub station, an acclaimed university, an industrial district, a smattering of landmarks, the greasiest fish and chips you'll ever eat. But its map is not an adequate portraiture. Copper Steam is very much like an intricate clock in the way everything works, but with intermittent departures from normalcy, just frequent enough to keep things interesting.
And it was in the early stages of one such departure that Macaulay and I became directly involved. It was a mild morning in early October, and we were enjoying a nice cup of tea in the none-such lounge of the old Cracked Pot, the inconspicuous headquarters of the Copper Steam Madmen's Guild, of which, as I'm sure we have already mentioned, Macaulay and I are both spoon-carrying members. We were enjoying our tea, reclined in a pair of comfortable cushion-filled copper bathtubs, having a heated debate over an age-old quandary.
You've taken leave of your senses! You've taken leave and gone on a fishing holiday! Your senses left behind to wither and die!
You know perfectly well that I abhor fishing, and it is you, my friend, who has gone out of your hat. This, dear woman, is the top of the pencil.
That is the tip of the pencil! You are holding it upside down, you bearded ninny!
The tip is the top! When have you ever heard someone saying, I'm going to reach the tip of that mountain, then getting out a shovel and mining helmet?
When the mountain in question is on the other side of the word, sir.
Fair dues, a valid point. I should have seen that coming, but I was not about to concede defeat. The pointy bit is always the top. Mountains, pine cones, garden gnomes, pyramids, and pencils.
Are you suggesting that railroad navvies, upon lifting their hammers to strike the stake, are regularly stopped by their foremen who say to them, "Stop, you dolt, you've got the stake upside down, the pointy bit goes on top"? When that pencil of yours is used, it will be held with the pointy end facing downwards.
Many instruments are used by turning them upside down. Pouring jugs, cutlery, shovels, brooms, hourglasses, chisels, whisks, and pencils. To this, Wellsvern said nothing, but instead rose from her cushion tub, strode across the room, took the pencil from my hand, then turned it upside down and inserted the blunt end into a compartment on her bewildered bowler. Seconds later, she withdrew the pencil, now with two pointy ends, handed it back to me, then returned to her seat. Bitterness does not become you, my friend.
Von Arkham then inserted the newly sharpened tip into a slot on his topsy-turvy topper. A moment later, he withdrew a slightly shorter pencil, with only one pointed end, whilst the other pointed half shot out of his hat's brass chimney and embedded itself in the ceiling. We sipped our tea.
Just then, Cracketus Quirkwright toddled into the lounge. It always makes us happy to see Cracketus, as his face is preternaturally disposed to look cheerful. Like he's got two plump kumquats in his cheeks, and the corners of his mouth are attached to his eyebrows with string.
Hello, Quirky. Things smoothing out with your hubby, are they?
Hello, the Mad Hatters! Yes, I do believe they are. Thank you for asking. Phineas's nose hairs have almost entirely grown back, and the swelling's gone down, so I hope he's forgiven me. The next iteration of the sniffle-sensing auto-hanky will be a smidge more discriminating.
Cracketus, we should note, is a contraptionist, a class of inventor that believes necessity is not so much the mother of invention, but rather more of a distant cousin who doesn't need to be invited to all the family gatherings.
Oh, have you looked out the window? I do believe we're about to receive a new admission.
Oh, what? Surely not.
It's true. There's a constabularian at the door with a vagrant. Come, see for yourself.
But it's not even a full moon. Let's have a look at this.
Gadzooks, he's right, Wellsvern. Why, that's that Constable Thumpspoke.
And who's that shabby woman with him with the boot on her head? I've never seen her before.
Someone fetch the listening tubes. I think we're in for a treat.
Yes? What do you want?
Good afternoon, sir, madam. I detained this vagabondress, causing a breach of the peace on Anchor Street just now.
Yippee for you! Why'd you bring her here?
Well, she was spouting nonsense and drawing faces on the cobbles.
Oh, none for me, Your Grace. I've got a door scraper.
And what do you want me to do about it?
Well, she's clearly off her head. This is your business, isn't it? This is where the nutters conflagrate.
Spudding phone. Ninepence a Tim. Rabbit on your elbows.
What's that on her head?
I believe it is a Wellington butte.
Where'd she get it?
I beg your pardon?
Where'd she get the boot? Is it yours?
I don't know where she got it. She's a vagrant. She probably nicked it.
Then shouldn't you be looking around for a bloke with only one boot on?
Look, are you going to take this nutter or not?
That's not where the camels hide their cubs, mind you. They have cupboards for that.
You're having a laugh, aren't you? She's not mad. We don't want no amleters round here.
She's not pretending. Listen to her.
The candlemen come out at night, shut the doors, keep out the light.
You can't make that up.
You can make anything up if you're clever enough.
Look, if she's not the genuine art official, just send her round to the yard. I can't be stood here chatting all day. I've got to get back on patrol.
The pie shop closing soon, is it?
Here, I'm warning you.
All right. But if she ain't really screw loose, I'm sending her round your house, Sonny Jim.
Struth! You're a...
Say it and I'll screw your knees together. Come on in, love.
Dreams will burn to ashes when walk the frightful candlemen.
Curious. Does that one seem like a Hamleter to you?
She certainly seems certifiably certifiable. Perhaps too certainly.
Indeed. As if she looked up the word lunatic in the dictionary and dressed herself as its definition. Are you ruminating what I'm ruminating, Wellsvern?
I do believe I am, Von Arkham. This newcomer requires proper evaluation. Fetch the poking stick!
Whilst Wellsvern and I were preparing to examine our new friend, Simon Sparkowitz was having a challenging day. Simon was 28, with the mechanical aptitude of an engineer of advanced seasons, and too much common sense to ever be in a properly cheerful mood. But today he was especially sullen, standing in the threshold of his mentor's office, faced with the unsavory task of having to pack it up.
It had been 3 months since Professor Peenhammer abruptly disappeared, and by the state of disarray she had left her office in, it was assumed that she wasn't coming back. Her once orderly apparatus was strewn hither and thither and whither or whither, as if an acrimonious marriage had suddenly ended with an exchange of domestic projectiles. Her prized and polished instruments defenestrated from their cabinets, and her numerous accolades and testimonials smashed from their frames now lay like litter among broken glass and detritus. It was a sorry sight, but Simon hadn't dared touch a thing, holding on to the hope that Peenhammer would return.
But after 3 months, the Board of Governors had insisted that he put down that hope and pick up some boxes and pack up the office already.
Wherever you are, I hope you're bloody happy. Digby, what?
Shh! Digby! Digby! Where have you gone?
I'm not here.
What's in the crate?
Frogs. 50 of them. Just came by post.
What's he got planned for you today, then?
I don't know, but he can't do it if he doesn't have his frogs.
Well, you can't hide them here.
Why? It's not like it could get any mess... Sorry.
It's all right.
Still no word of her, then?
Not unless it's been 3 months. She's deserted her position. Clear out the office or clear off, Mr. Sparkowitz's word of her.
Perhaps they're right. Maybe she did just leave.
Yes. Perhaps she just felt like redecorating before she left. Professor Peenhammer couldn't leave a room if there was a smudge on her letter opener. This isn't her.
But she wasn't kidnapped. The guards saw her walk out of the courtyard on her own.
Yes?
Well, was she under a great deal of stress?
I couldn't say. I hadn't seen much of her lately. She was working on something. She called it a revolutionary telecommunications paradigm. Locked herself in here for hours at a time and wouldn't tell me anything.
Sounds to me like she was overworked.
Well, that's a bloody low bar at this university, isn't it? Present company excluded, of course.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Digby. I don't mind telling you that this business has me a bit cross.
It's fine. I hadn't noticed.
In 3 months, they've done little more than ringing her at home and checking the beds at St. Nightingale's. 30 years she's been with this university. Now she up and vanishes, apropos of nothing, leaving her office like an elephant had a conniption fit, and they call it unexcused leave and destruction of university property. No sense letting the office go to waste when another researcher could use it. Can you think of another professor with half the wits as Peenhammer? Because I can't.
Indeed. Why couldn't it have been someone else whom we could certainly do without?
She's got 63 patents to her name, you know. And Excelsiors have made a fortune off of every one of them. This rotary spark gap governor, fitted into every aerial in the city. This Faraday shield design, on every airship that goes higher than 60,000 feet. See this solenoid engine? They're building a locomotive in Brashampton that can go 100 miles per hour on one of these.
Blimey.
And that's just the patented ones. She's got scores of them in the works, just waiting in her
brain? Lab? Desk?
Her notebook. It's not here, it's gone.
Are you certain? It might be anywhere in this clutter.
It was right here on the desk last time I came in here, and now it's gone.
Could it have been moved?
The only people who've been in here since have been me and the police. No one else has a key.
Well, the caretaker must
Does it
have.
look like a caretaker's been in here to you?
Fair point.
Could she have come back for it?
Digby?
Oh, no.
Digby, there you are. What's all this lollygagging about? There's work to be... Oh, Mr. Sparkowitz!
Professor Van Widdershins.
I'm so glad I caught you. I've been meaning to discuss the possibility of you coming to work for me. I've just made an interesting breakthrough in my work with the giant electrophorus.
Have you?
Yes, I've adapted it for the purpose of deriving power from creatures with organs of bioelectric generation.
Have you?
The instrument in question was augmented with the addition of a spiral copper coil on the underside of its dielectric plate and suspended over a tank of salt water wherein the specimens were placed.
Fascinating.
My assistant Digby, you remember Digby?
Yes.
Proceeded to agitate the specimens with a prodding pole so as to provoke a defensive response from their electrical organs, thereby polarizing the carpeted lid of the tank.
Did he?
We achieved a rather minuscule charge from the electric ray, I'm afraid, but distinctly promising numbers from the electrical eel, which, strictly speaking, isn't an eel, but a genus of knifefish, although its scientific name rather comically is Electrophorus electricus, the very same moniker as the device by which
Pardon me, Professor. I really must be going.
Ah, well then, a clever young man, but ever so distracted. Oh, are those the frogs? Splendid! Come along, Digby. Discovery awaits.
Coming, Professor, you pompous poppycocker.
As Simon Sparkowitz hurried away, and Professor Van Widdershins and Digby went off to do unspeakable things to some frogs, a swift and salty westerly was breaking over Boilermouth Bay, playing rousing aeronautical tunes upon the bells, ropes, envelopes, and timbers of the tether-moored airships at 80 Days Wharf, as if in introduction of Copper Steam's favourite daughter, as she came swooping over the ether docks, waving to the working crewmen below as she passed.
Hello, fellow aeronauts. A lovely morning, isn't it? Whey!
Eloise Trapeze, artificer, apiarist, violinist, aged 27, with the imaginative prowess of a wide-eyed youth, and a heart so full of love and kindness that it radiates wonder, was taking her daily flight above and about the city on the wings of her back-mounted aeroglide rig, followed close by her buzzing apisoid drones.
Now, just around to Darwinston for the asters and goldenrods, then back to the hive, lovelies.
An artificer by trade and beekeeper by hobby, Eloise instinctively fixes things that everyone else thinks cannot be fixed. Thusly, upon the untimely extinction of the honeybee, clever Eloise engineered an elegant solution.
Thought by many to be the most exquisite invention in all of Copperstein, Eloise's apisoids so perfectly mimic the anatomy, behavior, and ecological function of the insects they were designed to replace that when first introduced, their sight elicited remarks of "Bloody hell, the bees are back!" crafted with the precision of a master watchmaker and conducted by wireless commands from the transmitter in their Queen's aviator cup.
The apisoids' novel ingenuity, coupled with the utterly effervescent charisma of their creator, made Eloise's daily flights a celebrated spectacle amongst the general Copperstein citizenry, to the extent, in fact, that she had even had a theme song written for her.
Oh, yes, it's brilliant! We sing it all the time, don't we, Edward?
Rather! Eloise Trapeze and her robot bees, flying around wherever they please, light as a breeze across the seas, all around the world with the greatest of ease.
So very catchy.
Anyway, it had been a fruitful morning for both pollination and collection, as the perennials were in full bloom across the city. And now there was only one more stop before returning to the hive on Tinkertop Hill.
Banking left past Nautilus Point, then gliding over the mouth of the River Babbage, the railroad tracks, Leatherstone Lane, and the roof of the law offices of Norton, Coker, Salvages, and Gidding, Eloise made a graceful spiral descent, retracted her wings, and landed on perfect point on the manicured grass of Darwinston Park, delighting a pair of picnickers who put down their sandwiches to applaud her.
Oh, brother!
A perfect landing.
Righto, lovelies. Those jars won't fill themselves. It's a sticky business, but who better to do it, eh? Tuck in.
As the apizoids whizzed from flower to flower, filling up their puff traps with pollen and their tiny tanks with nectar, Eloise noticed something off about their number.
27, 28, 29. Hang on. Where's Mercutio? Mercutio?
It's just booming us!
No, it's alright, he does not sting. Oh, I've got him. Goodness, Mercutio, what's gotten into you? Why are you behaving so... Alright, lads, that'll do for today. Up, and home we go.
Taking 2 good spring-heeled hops.
Quite literally, in fact. She had springs in her shoes.
Eloise launched herself skyward, extended her wings, and glided her way back to the garden on Tinker Top Hill, curtailing the scenic route.
Once there, she bid her diligent workers return to the thermohive to start the next batch of liquid gold. All but Ariel, Horatio, and Titania, whom she brought with her into her garden shed workshop to aid her in examining the defective drone.
Right then, what's got you buzzing amok, eh? Magnifying glass, please. Thank you. Well, the wings aren't warped. Maybe the balance is off. A screwdriver, please. Thank you. Let's have a look. No, your turbulence immaculate, lovely. Nothing wrong here. I wonder, where's that Hertz fork resonator? Ah, thank you. Let's just cuddle up your receiver and... Hang on a moment. Did you hear that, lovelies? That's not right frequency. Someone's interfering with your signals, you poor thing. Where is that coming from?
Will Eloise find out what's bothering her bees?
Will Simon manage to track down Professor Peenhammer's notebook?
Will the woman with the welly on her head prove to be properly Barney?
Will cheese explode if you buy it at auction?
William Shakespeare still owes us money.
To find out what happens, I suppose you'll have to join us next time.
Until then, stay mad, my duckies.
That chapter of I've Got No Spoon featured Isaiah Plovnick as Von Arkham, Ashley Ristine as Wellsvern, Peter Wallace as Simon Sparkowitz, and Carrie Keeball as Eloise Trapeze, with Elizabeth Ross as Professor Peenhammer, Eric Chung as Professor Van Wittershins, Jeremy Holstein as Digby, Andy LeBlanc as Cracketus Quirkrat, Ariel Kaplan as Vera, Justice Perry as Constable Thumbspoke, and additional voices by Jackie Fryman and Aaron Stoliker. The announcer was Mike Haddad. Music by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under Creative Commons. I've Got No Spoon was written and directed by Isaiah Plovnick, with editing by Michael McAfee and Isaiah Plovnick. It was recorded at Brookline Interactive Group in the Creative Collective in Salem, Mass., and was a Madmen's Guild production for the Post-Meridian radio players. What a silly business.
Thanks for joining me for this episode. Tune in next time for the second episode of the Madman's Guild, entitled Attention Copperstein. If you like what you hear, you can check out more about the PMRP at their website, www.pmrp.org, or their new Bandcamp store, pmrp.bandcamp.com. This is Nick Scratch signing off, and I hope to see you around the dial.
This has been a production of the Post-Meridian Radio Players, copyright 2023. All rights reserved. For more information about our group, please visit www.pmrp.org.